All right, here we are with the Stephen and Aphiah podcast, and today we're just gonna go over this is like kind of our podcast address to the nation. No, we're just gonna go over you know what what's been going on so far with Trump's executive orders.
Yeah.
So you want to
Um,
introduce each one, Stephen?
each one.
Yeah, yeah, we'll just take it away, and then eh, and then like we'll each give a quick little comment about it or whatever.
Sure. So let's see. Looks like starting with ending the weaponization of the federal government,
Okay.
and let's see. I didn't realize that he had done that. And weaponization of the federal government. So what exactly is he ending then? Like how is the federal government being weaponized?
Yeah, I think he meant himself would be my guess, because the government being weaponized against him, going after him for uh, business stuff, and saying that it was a threat to our democracy and this and that.
He's like I'm the president, so leave me alone. I run
Yeah.
this shit now.
Yeah,
Um,
because even in the starting line of the executive order, it says, right, the American people have witnessed the previous administration engage in a systematic campaign against its perceived political opponents, which, of course, at the time was him. So,
I see. Yeah.
um,
So there's more to it. Click on it. Okay.
yeah, but yeah, I don't really know how that's going to be actualized. that that seems more like a political stunt. Like, yeah, I'm fighting back against the system, kind of one. I I don't know how much uh real weight
Well,
that will have as far
yeah.
as
I mean, if that
uh,
were to go through, that could cause some negative repercussions too, because I mean, there's supposed to be checks and balances here. Um, so uh,
well, recently the ICC arrested Duterte, the former Philippines president.
uh-huh. Yep.
So like um
The
I
South
would
Korean leader just got arrested and
right.
got the boot as well.
Yeah, so I think it kind of just keeps that kind of thing happening in our country, which if but you know, given on where you stand in like Filipino politics, that could be a very good or very bad thing, right? Where if you're pro Duterte, then it's like, oh, this is that's a great thing, right? Like he did they're trying to counter the good that he did for the country. Where if you're like, hey, well, Duterte did kill a lot of people, then you might say like, okay, this can get dangerous if we have some really psycho president.
Yeah, I mean, what good leader hasn't killed a lot of people? It's just part of the job. No, I suppose it depends on who you're killing. Uh,
Eh, that's true, though. That's true. Are you killing the good guys or the bad guys?
right. You can kill that one, but not that one. Don't kill that one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a
Or it could be like a mouse situation where you're just killing all your own people.
right. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. Initial, uh, initial rescissions of harmful executive orders and actions.
Okay. Main focus of the order was to rescind diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, very first day, he was going after DEI policies,
Right.
and this is where it started. And then people act surprised when he starts booting people. The interesting thing about Trump is he does say crazy things, but he does act on what he says. So uh, I don't know why people are surprised second time around, but yeah, he's. I mean, he is taking it up a notch from his first round as president, but
Yeah.
um,
Well,
people should not be surprised here.
yeah, and I think the reason that some people is because he does. Let's call it what it is. He does fabricate the truth quite a bit.
I can't. There's no arguing that. No. Um,
And sometimes you're not sure if he's doing that for political effect or if he's doing it for uh, his negotiation tactics or if he really believes that.
I believe there's a bit of narcissism in there where he truly believes his lies. Sometimes I don't know. It's hard to say which ones he believes and which ones he's like, I can't believe I just got away with saying that sort of thing.
Yeah,
They hit it up. But
yeah,
oh man, yeah, hard to say. But never a dull moment with this guy. I'll say that.
yeah, definitely. And that's it's kind of like because he was voted, I'd say, to shake up the system. Um,
He
but
did win the popular vote this time too. He did not beat Hillary in the popular vote, even though
yeah,
if you asked him, he won by a landslide in the popular vote. I think he broke records even. Um,
he's always breaking records.
everything he does is the greatest and best thing that's ever happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but I'm not really sure what you mean by that because Trump never speaks in hyperbole, you know. But yeah, I mean, he was running against a corpse, basically, who then was replaced with like a no name suit. So there was there's really the only way Trump could have lost is if he lost to himself, you know.
I mean, some there are times during, especially when Kamala first started running, where I was like, she's building up some steam, and he seems to be like shooting himself in the foot or whatever. But it
Sure.
works for him, and I was surprised he won the first time, and I was less surprised this time, um, even
I
though he was saying more ridiculous things.
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a landslide victory this time because it's like, who else were we supposed to vote for? Like, we didn't really have a choice, you know. It was like, I mean, Trump, like, I mean, we had Biden in office for four
Yeah.
years, who was just not
Well,
there.
Kamala Harris, I
He was
think
a
she
walking
really,
zombie.
I think Kamala Harris really uh, put the final nail in the coffin when like I think she had a chance until she said that on live national television that she wouldn't change a thing that Biden had done.
Exactly. That was the nail in the coffin for her.
Oh
It's
man, that was
like
yeah. I don't know how you back
Trump
that up.
kept like handing it for her to take, and she just kept slapping it away. And Trump's like,
Yeah.
here, have the victory, and she's nah, I don't want it. So it's like, yeah, there was really no other choice. It was Trump. It was Trump versus not Trump. That's all the Democrat side offered, really. It's
Yeah,
like,
all
oh
Trump had to be like, are you happy with what Biden's done so far? No. Well,
yeah,
uh, my opponent is. So who are you gonna vote for?
right. So that like took all the choice away, really.
Mhm. But yeah, this DEI stuff. So I think the idea for the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies were initially good, but I believe it got carried out of hand to the point where um, I can't remember his name. Um, is a comedian slash actor who is like you know um, He's talking about a pilot of his plane. He's like, I don't want somebody to be the pilot of my plane because, the company had to meet some quota on how many minorities they had in the system. So they, slap somebody in there who's like barely capable of doing the job versus just having, some white guy with 30 years of experience flying,
Right,
commercial jets under his belt and the best most qualified person basically. He's like
right.
I want the best. I don't want somebody in there just to meet a quota. So like
Exactly, which is what everyone wants. So that's why that whole DEI thing too. It's a political spin because
Mhm.
no one just wants my my neighbor across the street to be the in charge of the airplane flights, right? I mean
Right.
I'm sure he's a great guy, but
Supposed to have a
probably
beer with or something, right? Yeah.
yeah. He's very knowledgeable in quite a few things, but that's not one of them, right? So it's not like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, don't put me behind the wheel. We're
yeah,
not gonna make it.
yeah. There's no sane person in the country who wants like, oh yeah, we just want them there because they're black or Mexican or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, no one believes that,
Joe
So
Rogan had a good one about too in one of his stand-ups where he's talking about one of the uh, one of the um, man, I'm blanking here. The people guarding the White House. uh,
uh, do do you mean the Secret Service?
Secret Service. I know it was some sort of SS, not the
Yeah,
Nazi.
like the
Um,
yeah. The people
yeah,
who guard
Secret
the
Service. But
president and the White House, like,
there was a
yeah,
female Secret Service agent guarding the front door of the White House, and some guy decided he was gonna storm the White House. I think he had a knife, and he
okay,
just tackled this chick. And
yeah,
Joe Rogan's like, he's like, you know, even most men shouldn't be doing the job of the Secret Service. So why do they have why do they have this woman doing it just so they could say they have a woman doing it, or it's like he's like, I can't even do that. It's like Joe Rogan's saying I wouldn't even be qualified to work in the Secret Service, and
right.
Joe Rogan could kick a lot of people's asses. So
Yeah, he's a bit older now, a bit out of his prime, but
I still
sure,
don't want to fight him, but
yeah, yeah, and I'm sure there probably are a few women who are good at the job. Like, there's one
definitely
woman who when President Trump got shot,
right.
shot at, uh, and almost killed when it nicked
Mhm.
his face. Yeah, like there one of the women there acted really bravely. But I think there was two women there. One definitely did not, but one of them did. So it's like, so it's not to say that there are no women for the job, but yeah, it's just
No, I'm
it,
not.
it's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm not
it,
saying.
it's
I'm
gonna
not
be
saying
less
that all
like
women.
yeah, it's gonna be less likely, right?
I'm
I
just
don't
saying there should be qualifications that you have to meet. You're not just meeting,
yeah,
quotas for how many women you have uh,
sure.
working for you, how many minorities of each race you have working for you. It's about who's the best qualified for the job. So,
Exactly, and I don't know the details about the woman or like how she was vetted or anything.
right.
Um, like, well, all I'm saying is like, yeah, there might be a few women for the job, but it's less likely, right? And yeah, if a guy can storm the White House and just tackle her, yeah, maybe that's not the best spot for her, even if she is right for the team.
Are
I
there any? Are
I
there
don't know
any?
I don't know all the details behind that.
Are there any desk Secret Service jobs out there? Maybe a
Desk Secret
Secret
Service job.
Service secretary.
Uh, oh man. So
That's
what next do
sexist.
we have on the list?
Okay. Yeah, we're never gonna get through these 89 in this first episode. This is gonna take more than one.
Yeah.
Because we're on three right now.
There's
Uh,
too many. There's too many things. Like, he just basically the first day he just like sat there, sign. Yep, sign that one, and
Right. He was. I think he's going for a record on that one. On that too. So many,
yeah,
so many signed on the first day.
yeah.
So executive order number 14149, restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, that was already supposed to be a thing, right?
Yeah,
Um,
we already have freedom of speech, and every day it's becoming less and less. Like a lot of people are, there's a bunch of free speech laws that they put into place where you actually can't talk about this or it's hate
and
speech and this and
and the
that.
problem with that is all this being politically correct getting blown out of proportion, sort of a thing. They can't offend any percentage of anybody, or you're wrong.
Yeah,
So I
and
think that's a problem. I think it's been taken to a level that's uh, I would say crossing the line. But that's my opinion, and I'm sure that that's politically incorrect as well. So who knows?
yeah, well, I think a huge thing of a huge aspect of like having virtue too is being able to like say even if you are in the right, being able to um take the piss out of yourself a little bit,
True.
uh
Well,
over the
and
years
people
people
say
lost the
things that I
ability to.
disagree with, and I don't go to, I don't go crying about it to, the court system saying, hey, this person said this, and I found it offensive, and this person needs to pay because of that, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
plenty of
well
people
because
don't agree with me, and I don't agree with a lot of people. So, but I mean, that doesn't make them wrong or me right either. It's just an opinion. So I
yeah,
don't
and
know.
either way, the problem with it though is that we've awarded that cowardly behavior. Like
Right.
he said thing like this whole anti-bully campaign,
Yeah. I think
uh
bullying is wrong
he-
for sure.
yeah, yeah,
But
no, no, of course that's what I mean. But it's like it's such an obvious thing. It's like why do we even need to say like I'm against bullying? Like yeah,
uh,
like who isn't against bullying? Everybody is against bullying. You
well,
know,
bullies are probably not against bullying, but
But even bullies are against bullying. Like a lot of the bullies have lower self-esteem than the people that they bully.
well,
That's why
definitely. I
that's
mean,
why
there
they're a
should
bully.
be there
You
should be
know?
a program, programs in place to like help the person that's clearly having issues. Probably at home, outside of school or something. There's a reason why they're acting out towards weaker people and whatnot. So there's there's
Definitely.
there's a better way to handle it. But yeah, that's where I believe it started there, and then this whole political incorrectness thing got blown way out of proportion, where you can't say anything anymore without somebody getting offended and you being wrong because of it.
Yeah. And yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, people need to learn how to handle better, like handle being offended with more grace. Like first of all, like I don't know, being offended is just it's kind of like it's like okay you're offended like so like now what it's like does that mean that that's bad or like or it's the end of the, I don't know, it's just it's taken to such an extreme.
Uh huh. Definitely. This mentions. Let's see. Bars the use of taxpayer resources to carry out what it claims as censoring, which may refer to the efforts of social media platforms and independent researchers to mitigate or track misinformation. So this is
Okay,
referring to what,
right,
like
so
Twitter
we
and
yeah, so I have actually seen some of that go into effect, right? Facebook has changed their policies,
uh
and Instagram has changed their policies, uh and so like with that, like yeah, they're not censoring it. They're supposed to stop censoring as much and you know change their system of like oh we have to fact check this. You know,
right.
so yeah, okay. Social media is kind of the modern day
Yeah.
public forum.
No,
So
there's a. I believe fact checking is important too. I don't expect everything that I read in social media to be accurate. So I don't think I don't. think that should be the place for fact checking. If
Right.
people do go by what they learned on Twitter today, as
Yeah.
take that as law, then that's on them. They should know
Yeah.
better.
I,
And
I think I think the corrective measure to that, rather than being worried about fact checking, is that we need to put more education on critical thinking, so that people, when people read something online, they know better to take it with a grain of salt, rather than,
right,
oh well, my favorite YouTuber said this, and
yeah.
they were right about such and such, so that must be true too. And it's
Well,
like,
it's
no.
like it's like when I was growing up, my parents always told me, "Don't believe everything you see on TV." And this was, you're talking about the '90s. Um, they make things look so real now, like anything could be faked, and it'd be hard to tell the difference between what's real and what isn't nowadays compared to back then. But uh, I take it to a higher extreme when I go to the internet. Like I don't know that anything that I see in social
Right.
media is
Especially
real and true or accurate. I don't
especially
expect it.
how good they are at editing now, and how and how, with so many different cuts of things, that they could completely manipulate a narrative by, okay, we're
Yeah.
going to take this segment, that segment, we're going to leave out this,
Hmm.
and they can crop their whole perspective. It's so easy for anyone to do that, so
Yep.
you should go in with that understanding.
Yeah, and I mean, it does make you wonder if so many people are believing what they see on the internet. I just read an article the other day for my English class. Um, it was talking about how uh, a huge percentage of people get most of their news through social media. Like
Mhm.
not even your normal newscasts anymore. They see some sort of news pop up or news feed on Facebook, and that's what they're using to get their facts nowadays, and that's concerning for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but I don't know.
that,
I mean, it goes back to the whole as far as this executive order on censoring and whatnot. It's like people are falling for this. I mean, I suppose that's on them, and we just need to do a better job of making sure people understand that you can't believe everything that you see on the internet, and to do your own research.
yeah, even if it's good information, right? Like there's people who are, very knowledgeable in certain areas, and they'll be very, they'll hold themselves to a high degree of integrity, and they'll
Yeah,
be right about this, this, and that. But everyone has their blind spots, so you can't just make a cult of personality and be like, oh well, Trump was right about this and that, so I'm gonna just believe everything he says, or with any of your favorite podcast host, or television show, or whatever.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Uh,
But I
you
was
brought
gonna
some things
I
there.
was gonna say, it's gonna take too long to go through all of these. So you want to just go through your list and pick some of the ones that you thought were more fun, that you wanted
Oh,
to know.
my list is even longer.
Oh
So
well,
it's up to
well
you.
just the highlights of your list, maybe.
Ooh. Because I gave up typing stuff up, so I was just going through bits and pieces. But yeah, let's see, because this is still we just finished January 28th. That's not when it was signed. That's when it was published.
Right. Yeah. The one's
Everything.
published January 28th,
Yeah,
and
so
then
all this was signed on January 20th. That goes all the way to the 26th executive order.
yeah, and then
Um,
yeah, there's like 10 more that were published the 29th.
all right. So let's see from day one. Hmm, yeah, let's just scroll through here. Oh, my favorite one uh from his first day
Hmm.
has to be renaming the Gulf of Mexico.
That was your favorite in what way? Not as definitely not as an actual policy.
Just
Like,
that
you know,
one
the
that one made me laugh.
this is the one that's gonna set America as the superpower forever. Like, this is the one that's gonna hold our place. Is like, you know, it was a little shaky with that it being called the Gulf of Mexico, but now that it's Gulf of America, wow, now we're winning.
It was very Trump esque. Yeah. It wasn't really important. I
I
mean,
would say
we all
Trumpian.
Trumpian. It's very Trumpian of him. It's what you'd expect from Trump. All right. um, I was not surprised at all that he'd do something like this, but it made me laugh because I mean, who cares what his call is? It's been known as the Gulf of Mexico for uh, since how many hundreds of years now? I don't know when they actually
Yeah, like
named it the Gulf of Mexico, but that's just how the whole world has known it.
yeah,
Just we're just changing it just to flex on what everybody,
yeah.
just because Trump says so. Um, so I thought it was silly.
It shows that we're powerful. Like, I don't know. To me, it's
It is a
begging the
flex. I
question.
mean that's
Yeah,
all.
no.
That's all it is.
Well, my problem with it is that it's begging the question too much. Like, if we're doing silly things like renaming the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America as a flex, it's like, um, like, haven't we done something of more valor that we can flex? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it
It,
it, ma-
it,
it
it
makes
had
us look
just
quite
had
petty.
like just the right amount of pettiness though to be
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course Trump would do that. Yeah. He's like, I don't want my Mar-a-Lago touching the Gulf of Mexico. He used to touch the Gulf of America.
Is that your is that your Trump impression?
Oh, I don't do impressions. Yeah, don't ask me to do impressions. I think the one that a lot of Americans were very happy for um, was delaying the federal ban on TikTok.
Yeah, that was just a fugazi.
Right. But
Yeah,
I mean, you know, there actually came a day where all of a sudden people couldn't get on, or they couldn't download TikTok anymore, or
sure.
they weren't able to use it.
But
Um,
it was already in the works with Congress that they would temporarily go back on that and such. Uh,
right.
that was all smokescreen.
Oh man. All right. So day two, January 21st.
Okay.
Of course, we have the tariffs. He promised to impose the tariffs on Canada and Mexico,
Yeah, and
25%.
people are kind of wrenching their panties a little early on that one. I think people are like, "Oh no, tariffs," or people are like gung ho about it. They're like, "Yeah, these tariffs are gonna like supercharge our economy." When
Mhm.
really, it's gonna take like a year or two to really start to see the effects of those. So
And well, some will affect us faster than others. It
sure,
depends on what items we're talking about. Because like food stuff that we import, especially from Mexico, that could show up pretty quick. Um, because of course foods don't, you know, last in the system very long. You know, they
yeah,
spoil.
but
So
it hasn't yet. It hasn't affected change yet.
not yet. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying it'll that'll show up.
yeah,
You know that
yeah. That
won't take a year to show. That'll
right,
show up.
right. The tariffs with Canada and Mexico will probably take have an effect on us sooner than the other ones. But
And
I'm
I
saying,
do believe.
yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Okay. I do believe that there are a lot of misunderstandings on what tariffs are. Basically, we're putting an extra tax on what we import from these places. So and we're not taxing them. We're basically charging more for the stuff that we sell that comes from them, which discourages people to buy those products and encourages people to buy more, you know, local stuff,
American products.
particularly American products.
Exactly.
So the goal is to it's a form of protectionism. Uh,
Mhm.
though usually it's developing countries that do this sort of a thing to encourage more local businesses
Right.
to grow.
Yeah.
Um,
Typically, protectionism doesn't work this late in this stage of the world
no, we're
world.
developed.
Yeah, especially yeah, with someone who's involved as much as the U.S. with you know basically every other nation.
Right. So yeah, it's uh, I'm interested to see how it's going to work because it could go any sort of you know in several directions from here. And in some ways, it could actually be good for local
Yeah,
business. Hard to say, but and then it could also come to bite us in the butt. Um, and we've
sure.
already seen other countries, you know, throw tariffs back at us at our products that we're exporting. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see how it all plays out.
Right. I think it's still too early to tell. And anyone who's so 100% of how the tariffs will work out, I think is trying to sell you something or you know, just kind of like win you over to their agenda. Like
Yeah. So I mean, I think I see where Trump is trying to go with all that, but I couldn't say how it's going to play out. I'm no expert on all that. Um,
yeah. Yeah, I get the strategy and that's something that I'm okay with shaking it up there. Like there's some things that I think are good to shake up, you know, you know, uh and there's other things where it's the status quo for a reason, and we need to use discernment of when that's applied. Because I think right now behind all the energy of and excitement with the Trump presidency, there's a lot of people who are just like, oh, the like, yeah, we're sticking it to the system. They've been lying to us for years, and it's like, yeah, well, that's true, but some things are in place for a reason, and like, it's that like old adage of like knowing why the fence is up before we start tearing it down.
right. Yeah. I will say right now, before we even go any further, I don't agree with everything that Trump is doing. I see where a lot of his ideas could potentially be good for the United States, but his way of going about doing them, I think could be better executed. That's probably the
Right.
nicest I can put it.
Yeah. The only reason I think it's more noteworthy to say that now too is because of the fact that you know with things being uh so unfortunate how it was left off with having a zombie as president for 4 years.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, I think people kind of are getting this kind of savior complex where like they think that the president's going to fix everything for them, and that's never how it's going to work, right? The
Right.
president's never going to come in and fix all your problems. The government will never do that, and
No.
and I think a lot of people are looking for Trump to do that now, because things had gotten bad, and it creates kind of like, yeah, that kind of like cult of personality where people are like, oh well, he was right about this thing, so like I'm gonna put a lot more trust in him when yeah we shouldn't be putting our trust into princes, right?
Right. And we do try to, you know, have some fun with this as well. I know it's not funny to everybody, all right, but please understand that, you know, we like to look at our glasses as half full, you know, Aphiah and I, and
Yeah, even if it's only a third way, it's
that's half full of me. All right.
uh,
It could be worse. I could be empty right now. um,
even if it was empty, my hope would would overfill it, and it would overflow it and
His
run it.
hope runneth over.
Yes. And thank you for catching that Shakespeare reference.
So, so other than that, on day two, he did announce a $100 billion AI initiative called Stargate. Um, that could be interesting. Anybody who's seen, let's see, Terminator is a good example. And see how that can go very badly. But uh, that's probably a worst case scenario, though. I think there's plenty of ways that uh, AI could be beneficial if it's run properly. Um, yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to be able to stop it. It's going to happen. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's just
I mean, it's
try
like
to
the
encourage
internet.
people to be mature and understand that
You want to
this we can
encourage
be
you want to
smarter
encourage
as
people to
more
be mature, Stephen. Good good luck with that plight, man.
powerful.
I'm I'm glad I don't have your battle, man. I'm not gonna try to encourage anybody to be mature.
I'm just throwing it out there so that I could say that I said it. All right. Um, you know, I know that when I people could look at me and be like, well, you saw this, you saw this coming and it potentially being bad because we're incapable of being mature about it, um, and you didn't do anything. So this is partly your fault, Stephen.
Well,
when
what
things
would
go south.
what would the internet be without the crazy rants about frogs turning gay and cats putting their head in bread? That's really the core of what it is to be human.
Is
So
it?
and
Is
and
that so? At
that
least with
it's
TikTok's making it for
it's
Americans.
gonna
The TikTok in
continue
China is
in
not the same.
AI.
The TikTok in China is trying to educate, its younger generations. It's and showing us all the dumb stuff.
Educate or re-educate.
I don't know. We'll have to go to China and find out.
I don't know. Hey,
If no one show me
I
that TikTok, I don't know.
I went to China, man, and none of my American apps worked. All right,
Yeah.
so it was it was
They don't
hard on
want you to
me.
do that,
I had to use WeGo and WeChat and all that
right?
stuff.
They don't want us rubbing off on them and their
Yeah,
people.
but no, I mean the more sensible Chinese just don't even pay attention to it anyways because they know it's all propaganda. So
Right.
like, uh, and in that sense, they're at least they're a
That's
little
better
bit more
than Americans are doing. Yeah.
right, right. Whereas like Americans don't even realize that it's propaganda. They're just
No,
like,
we're like
yeah,
TikTok told me this, so it must be true.
yeah, or yeah, my favorite news channel says this, and like, yeah, it's all
Favorite news.
it's all the Democrats' fault, you see, because this and that, and the other side's like, oh yeah, well, my favorite told me this, and it's all the Republicans' fault, and it's like, yeah, no, really, you guys are all just
Diversify your news channels. Watch more than
yeah.
one. Or do not find one where you like one of the reporters or something and decide
Yeah.
that's your
But
news channel.
but what I but my thing is even simpler. It's all propaganda. It's just
Right.
what
Well, I mean,
propaganda you're buying into.
even when I'm even
'Cause-
when I'm trying to find good news, I'm go through like Yahoo News or Google News or something like that. I could spend half an hour sifting through garbage trying to find one good article sometimes, and even then I'm
uh,
like, I need to go look this up somewhere else and figure out if this is actually accurate.
yeah. I'm gonna throw a
But
little of my conspiracy theory in here and say because it's right it's two wings of the same bird and right really it's easier to control a population that's divided if we can get everyone to hate each other then whether you're buying the left propaganda or the right propaganda either way you're buying the American propaganda so that you can be controlled.
should we just move to a different country?
Oh, well, I did that. I love living in different countries, but
I
I love America too. See, there sometimes there's this like um thing is like it has to be what one way or the other. Like it's like really black and white. Like, oh, if if you don't like America, then you should just go to another country. It's like, and it's like that's not the thing at all. I'm sure most people like love America, but
Right.
of course there's going to be things that they criticize about their country, which we're supposed to and which we're able to do because of our free speech here,
Right.
and then and just because you
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't be
living
able to say how
somewhere else
disappointed I
too
am at what
doesn't
America's
mean that
doing right now if I didn't live in America.
yeah, yeah, it's like I wouldn't care, like,
I
because
love that
people,
about America.
yeah, because people think that love and hate are opposites when really apathy is the opposite. If if you didn't love America, you wouldn't care enough to hate it.
Right.
like I mean, not hate
Or
it,
be
like
upset with it. I'm
hate
very
hate
disappointed in America right now.
yeah yeah hate things about it, and then on
I'm
the other
not
side, like,
mad. I'm just
yeah,
disappointed.
yeah, yeah, and it's okay to be disappointed about things and to criticize our leaders. That because
And,
that's one of the things that makes America great is that we can criticize our government, and we
and
don't get thrown in the gulag or yeah.
this has absolutely nothing to do with the AI initiative, but we went off on a tangent.
Yeah, we
Uh,
do that sometimes.
it happens. It's gonna happen again, I promise. Um, but yeah,
This
so,
was all sponsored by AI too. Another conspiracy. I was told by AI to go off on that tangent so that AI is left off the hook. We're not gonna
yeah, a hundred
we're not
billion
gonna go
dollar
into those weeds.
$100 billion AI initiative, though. I'm very interested to see how that goes. The rest of the stuff he did on day two was all about getting rid of the diversity efforts and DEI stuff. Um, we already touched on that.
Hmm.
So let's see.
Yeah, let's skip over that. Let's skip to something that we haven't touched on yet.
I'm just going to do a quick scroll and see where I land. Restricted gender affirming treatment for minors. I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's one that all 100% of sane people agree with.
Right. Well, I'm trying to think of who would disagree with that, and I hear so many frustrating stories with that too. Like parents trying to be good parents, then like their teachers are going behind their backs and like your seventh grader wants to be he wants to be a girl now. So since you're getting in the way of that, I'm gonna send them to get that treatment, and I'm gonna sign off on it. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're, we're
that's crazy. If someone tried that, with one of my kids, like, yeah, I would be going to jail because
No, I was gonna say that teacher might
that's
disappear.
yeah, that's war right there. You're you're going after my kid like that and trying to chop off their genitals or what have you. Like, oh
if
no,
you get if you get to where you're 18 and you can and you're legally an adult and can do make your own adult decisions and you still want to go through with all that, go for it. But
yeah,
as long as you're my child, I'm gonna have to say sleep on it.
yeah, and it's
Until
about
you're 18, sleep on it. Like
like
really think about this before you make such a life altering decision because that is huge.
right, just like even in less than that, like minors aren't even able to consent for sex. So
Right.
like
It's very
how
very
then can they
impressionable.
consent to removing their sexual parts like
Right.
that?
They're at a very
Like,
impressionable age. And I understand there are some very rare circumstances that where they might have both genitalia and have to choose between one and the other sort of thing. But
yeah, but
what are the odds of that? I don't know.
which was always facilitated very straightforward and easily
Right.
until
That,
5 minutes
that
ago.
doesn't that doesn't that should not apply to somebody who was born female and decides when they're 11 that they want to be a dude. You know what I mean? Uh,
Right.
or a male that wants to be a female.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd
and
say honestly that one it's just like a no-brainer. If if someone disagrees with that one, then
What
then
upsets me is that we have to make these laws about this, and then like this
yeah.
should not be an issue. This should not be something that we're arguing about in the first place. But
Right, right. And if there is someone who we need to argue that one over, well, they're clearly going through something, and we need to just like sit down with them one on one. But that's one I think we could just move past. That's not that should be a no brainer for 99.9% of the people. It's like, yeah, okay, no chopping off kids' genitals. Next.
this one, I mean, this page that I'm on, it's on the NewYorkTimes.com. It's like every little thing that Trump has done since coming into office, and this one says falsely claimed U.S. sent $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza.
Wait, who sent all those condoms to Gaza?
It's saying that Trump falsely claimed the U.S. sent $50 million in condoms to Gaza. So we didn't send $50 million in condoms to Gaza, but Trump claims that
Yeah.
we did.
So like we had a
No
like a
stood out
U.S.
to me. I don't
we had a U.S.
know.
plane that went across the Atlantic Ocean with a bunch
That's
of condoms.
more condoms than Gaza will ever need or use. But um, that's a lot of condoms. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's a weird claim. That's yeah, that's what like. There's some things he says and it's kind of funny, and there's some like I don't know. You just kind of have to roll your eyes at that one. Like, yeah, okay, Trump, whatever. You're trying to create some controversy or whatever.
Right. Well, like this one here says he blamed DEI for deadly midair collision over the Potomac. Is it Potomac or Potomac? I don't know how to pronounce it. The
Yeah,
DC
the tribe.
uh, river.
Oh, the
Um,
DC River.
right where the commercial plane got hit by the, was it a Blackhawk?
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the plane went down in the helicopter.
Yeah, there were a few issues there, and I don't believe air traffic control did anything wrong, which is where Trump was trying to go with that when he blamed DEI,
Right.
uh,
Yeah, yeah,
because the
yeah.
guy that was running the air traffic control was apparently a disabled person or something like that, a guy in a wheelchair, I think. I don't remember exactly how it went, but he was, and Trump was saying something along the lines of, if we had hired somebody that was actually capable of doing his job correctly,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it
That,
wasn't the air traffic controller's fault. I'm not backing Trump up on this one.
right,
Um,
right, right,
that
right.
was a
With that,
terrible thing to
with
say.
that, with that one,
And
I'll say though, like Trump doesn't always communicate well. Like he has some slippage of the tongue, let's say. And on that one, I think they it was taken like what he said obviously was wrong, but he was trying to say a broader point that we need to not have DEI, within these
I
bills
think he
so
was
that they
trying to
cause
use
problems.
this situation to back up his previous DEI, getting rid of, like, back
Right.
up his idea of getting
Which
rid of
again,
DEI.
propaganda, media spin, right? He's trying to
I don't
shape the
think,
narrative, right?
yeah, I
Like,
don't think it was
oh,
necessary.
oh,
I think if
I've
he had
been
just not brought up DEI, it would have been, everything would have been fine, and he could
right.
still
But of
stick
course,
with his.
of course his detractors are going to run with it, like, oh, he said this, and they're going to use that as like a gotcha moment because, of course, what he says was false, but the broader point was he was trying to do his propaganda for saying, hey, I've been working against this DEI for a while. Look, this might be the effects of that, and
Uh-huh.
kind of keep that narrative in people's mind about DEI bad, basically.
And
But
then as
when in
far,
actuality is such air traffic control is a really complicated thing, and that's something that's going to need to be investigated by the experts before anyone has any clue of what's going on.
well, I've also heard from people that have flown in and out of there that it can be very hectic with a lot of the military, uh, um, aircraft flying through there. That there are issues with getting in and out of that airport. Um, out of Washington D.C. So
Sure.
that could be something that they need to focus on more as far as making it safer. And then there were issues with this was a night flight by the military crew, and they had their night vision goggles on, which I don't know if you ever tried those out, but you got no peripheral vision. Okay, I mean you got tunnel vision, and
Right.
there's nothing you can do about it. And it's not like you can constantly be looking left, right, forward. I
Yeah.
mean,
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. Just to throw in a random thought out here, and maybe the tech geniuses could figure this out. But like how with those VR glasses, how you could see fully across 3 dimensional.
yeah,
Like
maybe do a night vision thing that goes all the way to over here, so you got your
yeah,
peripheral night vision.
right. Like so, expand it just like how they expanded the VR ones, so that you
Hmm.
have that further peripheral vision. I don't know.
That could help.
Maybe that's workable in the technology. Maybe not. I'm just throwing the thought out there.
I don't know. Night vision is fun though. I had I grew up with the night vision monocular, and I was always showing it off, and I was proud of it, and I had fun using it. Um, but uh, yeah, I would think that they would have better technology by now to where you can get more of your peripheral vision um, at this point for the military, at least. You know what I mean? People who actually need it.
Yeah.
Um, then as far as president putting his foot in his mouth, I
Get it?
can only imagine how many times if
Puts
I
in
had.
his foot in his mouth. Puts in his foot in his mouth.
I'm just
Is it
okay. Well, I feel like he was out of line here. I feel like
like how he put his foot in his mouth with Putin? He put in his foot in his. I'm having too much fun with that. Go on, sorry.
My point is, he's got a camera on him 24/7. Basically, like everything that he says gets recorded. If everything I said got recorded, I'd be putting my foot in my mouth multiple times a day. So keep that in mind, people, when you're
You,
critical of somebody
or,
who's constantly
or
on
or as,
TV.
or as the kids are saying nowadays, say less, right? that's that's one way to not put your foot in your mouth as much.
Yeah, well,
It's,
that's not going to happen with Trump. All right, he's not going to say it.
right?
Okay,
We're be
and he'll
quick.
probably try to prove you uh, wrong, or go against what you're saying by telling him to say less by saying even more than he already says. Uh, so yeah, good luck with that one. So that
But
was day
so
11.
are you saying Trump acts pretty similar to my 2-year-old daughter?
I don't know your 2-year old, but
You got to come down and meet her soon.
definitely. And we're not that far away
Like,
anymore, so very few
yeah.
excuses.
Wait,
I can take
are
the
you
train
no
over there even.
are you north? Because we might actually be headed towards your way. Maybe we'll
South.
stop by and see you after Monster Trucks.
I'm south.
You're
Yeah,
south. Oh, okay. Never
about
mind then.
about
We're
a
going in the
little over
opposite
2 hours
direction.
south of you. Yeah, but yeah, just
Anyway,
right down the 99 though. That's
okay.
for all you non-Californians. That is the highway that connects the whole Central Valley, San Joaquin Valley of California, all the farmland in California. It's all connected by Highway 99
Ooh, giving some
or I-5.
California trivia
Or
here. Nice. Is
I-5 goes through even more than that, but yeah, it does not go through here.
is there
Planned.
anything on the list that pertains to California? More.
Um, well, he was working with the wildfires, and he did work with Gavin Newsom, and
Mhm,
they
that's
put
right.
their boxing gloves down for a couple of days, and were nice to each other for a little bit to try to work on that issue.
Oh,
Um,
isn't that sweet?
right. Gavin Newsom even thanked him, even though we all know how Gavin Newsom feels about Donald Trump. Um,
Yeah. That
so
that must have took much restraint and
I think it took on both sides. It took much restraint.
yeah.
Gavin
I get
Newsom
okay.
wanted to run for
Let's
president.
give him let's give him a round of a round of applause for that because yeah, those guys. Let's see. How could I put it mildly? They're not best of friends.
That's very mildly. Yeah. uh, Trump has the job that Newsom wants, so
Yeah,
and
and
I don't believe that Newsom agrees with any of his policies. So uh,
do you think Newsom will still be gunning for it for President 48?
would not surprise me. I think once he's no longer governor, he's going to be one something else. Anyways, I think that just him being governor now might have even just gotten in the way of him really having a shot at going for it this time. So, but
Yeah.
hard to say.
All right, let's move to the next executive order.
Ooh, these aren't all executive orders, by the way. For
Yeah,
example,
just
this is
okay.
an agency directive. He planned a possible FBI purge. Let's see.
An FBI purge into the Bidens or into what in
See. The
particular?
acting deputy attorney general ordered acting FBI leadership to compile a list of all agents and FBI staff who worked on the January 6th investigation. Um,
Oh,
so,
okay. So
uh,
so basically revenge for going after him for January 6th.
yeah,
Uh yeah, I think that's more Trump pettiness.
yeah.
That's that's
Trump pettiness.
that's
That's one word, by the way, people.
yeah. Yeah, it should be coined. Really.
We're gonna make up a lot of
It's
words on this one. Yeah, like pushed out a Treasury official for denying access to Elon Musk's team. Um, it's
yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna get in the way of Doge. Okay, you're fired.
Yeah, some of these are clearly just to appease, like, not even just appease, like, kind of like rally up his base. Like, yeah, Trump is sticking it to the system. When it's like, yeah, that's not going to hold any long term effects. Really, that's just as far as like policy for the everyday working man. Like it's like, oh, okay, Trump's getting back at them for getting at him for January 6th. That's that sounds like a they problem. like like I don't know where you and I fit into that.
It's got nothing to do with me. Required federal workers to remove pronouns from email signatures.
Okay, I'm fully for that one because oh man, you wouldn't believe like if if I rolled my eyes anymore, they'd probably concave into the back of my skull for how many times I've had to sit through the stupid, like trans training and
Oh man,
for job orientations. Like that is crazy. Like I don't need to know about her, him, they, sir, all these things like
no, yeah.
to for like whatever job I'm doing. I've never had a job where that was of any importance, and yet there it is in all the orientations.
What bothers me too is like, okay, say you're a transgender, but you're like a male who's trying to become a female, or going towards the female gender or whatever.
I've gone
Then
cross-eyed.
is it?
Male,
Can't I just call you a she? Isn't that what you want? Is that wrong? Like why do you need a whole different pronoun for that? Like you want to be
because
girly, but if that treats you like a girl.
they present as a female, but gender-wise, they feel that they are a they them.
So you're just being difficult. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm different, and you need to recognize that. You're
Yeah.
weird.
But, like
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 you,
when
you used to get picked on for this kind of stuff. All right, now we're walking on eggshells around you all the time. All right, is that what you really want? You want people to walk on eggshells around you all the time?
Yeah, because the thing too is like if you actually want to be accepted, then you then you actually want to be able to go unnoticed with a right. You
Well,
don't need to always put your issues in front of people's face because like
like
I
all of us, every guy that I've grown up with, we all poke fun at, um, all the things, little things that make us stand out from the other one. Uh,
yeah, and that's
even
what
even when it
makes us
was
part of the group. Yeah, you know
right,
what I mean.
even
Like
when it was sexist or racist or stuff like that. If it was a stereotype or something. Like if I
because
saw you,
it's not because it's not actually racist. It's okay
if
to
I saw
say
you eating
racial
if
things,
I
right?
saw you eating a watermelon right now, I'd have to say something about it.
But who doesn't like watermelons? I don't know how black people got that one. Uh,
I'm actually
but
not a
like
fan of
I'll say
watermelons, so
you, I'm
I'm
gonna
weird.
I'm gonna have to revoke your black card now. I thought you were one of us,
I
but
should have never got
can,
one. Yeah,
can we cue in the Kendrick
don't
Lamar
do that.
song?
It's fine.
No,
No, I am white people. I don't know if you can tell. So
the last barbecue I invite you to, Steven.
I do like
don't,
chicken.
don't like watermelon. Oh, you do like chicken? Oh, okay.
I do
All
like
right.
chicken.
All right, you can come then. But we're gonna have to put a warning notary there on your black card. You like
Does not like
can't
watermelons.
can't be too sure these days, you know.
Oh man, but yeah, like that's part of being included is teasing each other for being a little bit different. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
there's weird things about me, plenty of weird things about me. I don't know what normal is really. Uh, I think that
yeah,
applies to everybody. So for us to have to walk on eggshells around somebody because they're choosing to be radically different from everybody else. I mean, no, it's like we should be, as us including you into the rest of the world, you're going to get teased a little bit. All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, if you because like real love, like you make fun of each other, right? Like there's no one who I like seriously like love who's in my circle who I
Mm,
don't like shoot the shit with,
right.
like and that's the thing like I don't know if you're familiar with John Waters films, but he's kind of like this like king of bad taste directors, and one of his stars that was recurring in a lot of his films. I think it was this trans woman named Divine, right? And she was just very over the top, very a complete diva,
Mhm.
and she was absolutely brilliant, and like and a lot of the jokes were on her and her and her trans identity, and but it was fun, like it was like the pictures were full of laughter and joy, and it
Mhm.
wasn't like a problem, like the moment like you can't be able to like tease back and forth with people and like, oh, like you can't joke about that, now we have to have a problem. Well, then it's no fun for anyone, and like yeah, it's like they're not like excluding you because they don't like you. They're excluding you because dude, you just you're a killjoy.
Right.
You don't want to have fun with everybody and tease each other.
Right. Um. So next, this is February 2nd. We're on now, day 14. Uh, said USAID, you said, was run by radical lunatics. So he's starting to attack you said, at this point.
Sorry, what was that?
USAID, you said.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, I I didn't know it was abbreviated as you said. I thought it was US aid.
USAID.
Yeah, but
Is that on me? Is that on me? You said, I said, you all said,
yeah,
you said.
I was like, you said what? Come again?
No, you said. I didn't
I
say
said.
you.
Wait, is this a Chinese joke?
so, so
um,
USAID, USAID um,
Yeah, USAID. Yeah,
was run by radical lunatics, according to Donald Trump on February 2nd.
yeah. That one's one I take. I take with a grain of salt what Trump said there, because like we have physical evidence of really good things that USAID was doing. Like
Isn't he trying to completely dismantle it though?
well, yeah, that was my problem with the whole thing of the dismantling of USAID was that he just like went across the board like, okay, we're gonna just gut this thing and then we'll see like what's good in it, like when it should have been the other way around, right? Like, let's see what's good first, because some of it was really important stuff, like you know um
Just like take
heavy.
the whole thing out and see what starts going to crap afterwards, and be like, oh, I guess we do need them for this and that.
Right.
All right, so we'll hire
Yeah.
you guys back, and we'll hire you guys
Yeah, and
back.
then it's the whole process, and by that time, you've got a bunch of dead Sudanese people because, yeah, no, they actually needed
Sorry, I
that
shouldn't laugh at
care.
that.
No,
No,
no, I mean,
these are hypothetical dead people. All right, I'm not
yeah,
laughing at
well,
actual dead people.
right, and sometimes you have to laugh, just keep from crying because, yeah, it's one of it was just
uh,
it was a stupid move. It was like, I get the
right.
intent behind it, like, okay, yeah, there's maybe a lot of waste, like I'm not like just gonna trust Elon Musk
Hmm.
complete like without any discernment either. But
Right.
let's say he is right and there is a lot of waste in that. Okay, fine. Let's
Hmm.
cut that out for sure. But that doesn't mean that we just gut the whole program first, and people who need it for their medicine, for AIDS care, and everything else that they did, like that just gets dropped overnight. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, what isn't getting talked about at all with all these government program firings is the fact that we do have uh, tens of trillions of dollars in national debt that we just keep raising the ceiling on instead of actually addressing it.
Hmm.
And by getting rid of any unnecessary programs that were, and that's where a lot of his getting rid of the whole DEI stuff stems from. Is supposed to at least, I mean, to get rid of that much debt isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time, but to actually address it instead of just continuing to shove more of it under the rug or wherever else you could fit it, um, and just ignoring it is it's not going to work. Eventually you wind up in a hole that you can't dig yourself out of anymore.
Exactly. It's like when you ask your kids to clean up the house and they move everything from one spot to another spot, and then
You
and,
shove it
then
all in the
next,
closet and really get that
yeah,
door
yeah.
closed.
And then when you
And,
open the closet, all hell breaks loose, right?
right.
It's like, oh, that didn't fix anything. That just made the problem much worse. But then,
Yeah. This is
later
where your
when you
clean clothes
when
are supposed to go.
yeah, later when you didn't
Not your
expect
trash.
it, and, now it's a worse problem. So
But
yeah.
yeah, and none of that's getting acknowledged at all when you hear about it or read about it in any sort of um, news post or news article or newscast. None of them are mentioning that there there's a logic behind what he's trying to do there. It's not just him saying, "Hey, I don't like this. Let's just get rid of all of it." There's it's like what can we get rid of to make things more efficient without costing so much money.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but
The other thing, that's another area where I want to of like where people are going too gung ho, like, oh, we're gonna save all this money. Like sometimes people are acting like the money's gonna go back in their pocket or something. They're like, and they're like being
Musk
really
had proposed that. He had proposed like another stimulus check with the money that they're supposedly saving, which has been debated since then as far as how much they've actually saved because of what they've done so far. And a lot of those claims have been retracted. So
yeah. So,
that's
spe-
interesting too. But it's like instead of just throwing the money somewhere else. I mean, yeah, that
well,
would be good for the economy. It also you saw what happened with inflation during all the stimulus checks during COVID lockdowns out here. I mean, inflation was at about 10% at one point.
exactly. That's what hurt the. That was one of the major things that hurt the economy in the first place. When you bring the economy to a standstill and just give money out, like
Mhm.
yeah, that's gonna have really bad long term effects. People
Amazon deliverers were mad.
people were just so
I still
scared
gotta go to
that
work, and they're making me do even more because everybody's at home and everybody's
yeah
ordering everything.
yeah people were afraid and actually like mad to go to work because
Yeah,
they're like, oh well, they're sending
you're
us
gonna
money.
make me risk my life.
Right. Like you should just keep sending me money. I can't go out there and risk my life. Like they're braving the frontier or something.
Right.
It was madness, but that's a whole nother subject. We won't go into the COVID stuff
Oh man, yeah, you want to make another episode? Here you go. Um,
yeah.
that could even be a two-parter. This one probably will be. We're
Yeah.
already over an hour. Uh,
And we're just on
offered
the second day.
this is February 3rd. This is day 15.
Okay, we're day 15 now.
Yeah, I scrolled
Oh yeah.
through quite a bit.
Okay, yeah, yeah. You skipped quite a few.
Yeah, I did. There's some other fun stuff in there, I'm sure. Uh, you could find something fun in every single day that like we could just sit back and talk about if we wanted to. But
Yeah.
about offered assistance to Ukraine in exchange for rare earth minerals.
Yeah.
There's a
So
lot to be said about how he's handling the Ukraine Russia war.
oh goodness. But just the other day, so after he accused Zelensky of never saying thank you, or sorry, Vance accused him of that, and even though
He
he
did
did,
say
and
thank you. He said
yeah,
thank you many times before, and
yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
One of my problems with that whole thing, I mean, the way that situation was handled was very immature, in my opinion,
yeah.
and
Say
he
thank
should
you.
not.
Say thank you right now. Look,
Yeah,
look, man, I'm
he should.
grateful. I'm
He shouldn't
grateful.
have even
Like,
said any. He shouldn't have been allowed to say anything in that, and that should have been all Trump. Like your vice president should not be like speaking up for you like
yeah,
this.
and especially when he asked him, he's like, "Look, have you been over there to Ukraine and seen the soldier?" He's like, well, he's like, "Well, I saw the news reports, or something like that." It's like, bro, that was not the question. Like
No.
you're really trying to political spin with that, and then
He also tried to blame Zelensky for the entire war even happening. So
yeah, and accused him of being he accused him of being a dictator,
yes,
uh, unwilling to have a vote, even though part of their country is in Russian occupation right now. It's
right,
like, how are you going to have an election when the very country that you're at war with is controlling sections that would need to participate in the election?
right,
It's like it's just so to the point. Even Zelensky's detractors, right? Because they have they're able to. He's not a dictator. They're free to be against Zelensky, and his
uh-huh,
own detractors stood up for him against that. They're like, "Oh, wait a minute, man. He can't have an election right now like that.
right.
He's not a dictator."
Right. I do not agree with any of how that entire meeting was handled. I think it was completely mishandled. I
Yeah.
have heard some good arguments about why the U.S. should not be so helpful and why the UN shouldn't just lean on the U.S. every time they have an issue that they want solved. It's supposed to be a joint thing, not hey,
Oh
the
yeah.
UN has a problem, America, why aren't you help fixing this for us? So I do get that perspective.
Oh yeah.
There's
I I had a like a few hour long conversation with my friend Hanson about that.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, he raised a lot of good points of yeah why that should be. Um, but yeah, like not even going into all that, I was gonna say like despite those accusations, like one thing right of I was gonna get to Trump accusing Zelensky of not wanting peace, which was another crazy thing. It's like, dude,
Right.
like it's like yeah, I just want all my countrymen to die. Like yeah, I don't want peace. Like obviously he wants peace, but he was saying yeah, we obviously need some stipulations, which was the case for months and Trump knew that because they've been in talks about this for several months now,
The whole
even
situation
prior.
is really difficult because Russia wants to get something out of this war after losing so many people and putting so
Yeah,
much money and time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears into this. Like we can't just back off and go back to the way things were without getting something out of it after putting so much into it. Like uh,
right.
it's a sign of weakness on their end, and then how are the people supposed to feel about losing a bunch of loved ones and whatnot, for absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and
And that's the thing. Another thing that's saying that's another strong piece of American propaganda right now, to where the Trump side is just like, yeah, he was showing his strength, and it's like, no, like it made us look really weak. But the thing is, like, so
I was talking about
despite
Russia looking weak.
all those false accusations,
Mm,
despite all that, Zelensky still signed for the ceasefire, and so now the ball is back in Russia's court.
mm,
It's been a couple days now, and we haven't heard from
yeah.
Putin if he's gonna agree to the ceasefire.
Yeah, no, I was talking about Russia looking weak if they wind up getting absolutely nothing out of this whole situation.
Mm,
Not necessarily America, but I did again. I don't like
right,
how that
right.
was handled. It was a little embarrassing as an American in my opinion. Um,
Yeah,
but then as far as Ukraine, they don't want to give up anything on their end, and they're clearly the victim in this situation. They were attacked, and so why should they have to give something up? So it's really difficult to
well,
find some sort of ground that both sides can agree on at this point.
right.
Somebody's going to get the short end of the stick here, and
It,
I would say most of the world is going to say Russia should get the short end of the stick, but Russia's not going to be happy
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
it. Right.
Like I mean, just in reality, I mean, like hopefully it could, but like I don't.
Just don't see how that would
Yeah,
work. Yeah.
yeah, I don't expect that in any way, shape, or form.
And to put that on Trump is, I mean, you're asking a third country to come in and fix your guys' issues. Now it's like it's not Trump's job to figure this out for you guys, but I suppose maybe as a mediator of some sort, since the rest of the UN doesn't want to do it, and
you know,
Yeah,
they're willing to sit back and point fingers at Russia and sneak stuff over to Ukraine, but they don't want to be have any part of that mediation because and I'm sure Russia doesn't want them to have any part of that mediation either because it's going to be a lot of biased opinions against them.
of
Um,
course, and yeah, there's a lot of strong arguments for why the
and I'm
EU
not
should be
condoning
part of
what
the
Russia
NATO.
has done. This is just me being a realist.
Right, right. It's just the fact of the situation. Like
Mhm.
that would be the Russian perspective, right? And
Mhm.
my thing I wanted to present like against that American propaganda is just like if the shoe was on the other foot, just being able to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, like the the aid to Ukraine was promised to Ukraine, and that was a bipartisan agreement.
Mhm.
At that time, right? Like it was under the Biden administration, but the
Yeah.
but the aid was a bipartisan agreement that was agreed by Democrats and Republicans,
Mhm.
and they were promised that as a donation, and only for Trump to turn around, a few years later and say, "Oh no, actually, you need to pay us back for that." So like
Right.
that puts Zelensky in a really awkward position already with that, and
Hmm.
still he's traveling over here to try to make the deal happen,
Right.
and now he's proved it by the fact even after he was treated in that meeting, he still signed for the ceasefire, and expressing his concerns that hey, we've made a lot of ceasefire agreements in the past, and Russia ignored them, right?
Hmm.
They've broken the ceasefire agreements like over 20 times. So
Right. Yeah. Tough situation there. I couldn't say how to, what the right way to handle that is from America's perspective. I think you're gonna piss some people off no matter how you handle it. So, but
oh,
that is part of being president. As far as taking over countries goes, how about Trump saying Canada should become a part of the U.S.?
I have friends in Canada. I have to support my Canadian friends. I'm gonna, uh, you know, uh, throw my bias out there. I guess that you know that I like Canada. I don't.
I think I think this is I
I
think
would. I think it serves America better for Canada to be a sovereign country.
right. I
Um,
mean, what good does it do to make a bunch of people become a part of our country when they don't want to be? Plus, I mean, you know what? Why rock the boat when we got a good thing going already? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. That's what I mean. It serves both countries better for Canada to be independent of the
they've
U.S.
got I hear I've never been to Canada, but I hear a lot of good things about uh, Canada. That things
Canada's
that you
cool.
can't get, that you cannot get here. You know, and just a way of being and a way of living that is just different vibes than America.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
let Canada be Canada and let America be America. You know what I mean?
If you want to freeze to death near the bears, that's your right.
All
And
right.
no.
Yeah. And they should get free
and,
healthcare for that.
and if you want real bacon instead of that Canadian stuff, then you could come here.
True.
It's just different choices of living. Different
Yeah.
choices of living.
Yeah. I'm sure their maple syrup is better.
Straight from the tree, mate.
Right. Yeah. I just got this morning. Yeah. Right outside. There's still some bark in that.
Yeah, but
Um, and
yeah,
then yeah, the same thing with it was Greenland, right? Talking about taking over Greenland and Panama.
right.
It's like, what are we trying to be here? Panama is interesting because we did take that over,
Well,
build the Panama Canal, and then give it back to them.
yeah, well, with Panama, I think he was just talking about taking ownership of the Panama Canal again,
Yeah.
because the deal was that Panama would stay in control of it, but instead they sold it to China, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so with the Panama one, I think that's actually a lot more reasonable. But whereas Greenland and Canada, he doesn't have as much leg to stand on with those. The least, of course, being Canada, I think.
So then, just a
Yeah,
couple days later, he
but
proposed
but
that the
but, but in any
U.S.
case, Americans and Canadians don't want that anyway. I think that's
No,
a majority negative as far as support for that, anyways.
yeah, you're taking your best friend and you're putting them below you. You know, you don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, hey, are we friends? Nah, I'm just gonna give you a noogie and
You
a
belong to
swirly,
me.
like dunking their head in the toilet. Like, what are you doing? It's like, no, we're not friends anymore. Uh,
Okay, another U.S. takeover a couple of days later proposed. Trump proposed that the U.S. take over Gaza.
did you see the pic?
The
Was
rendering,
the
it
yeah
turned
yeah
into
the
like a
AI
paradise or whatever, like
yeah
a
the
tourist
AI video?
destination. Yeah. Yes.
That had to be the cringiest thing of the year. And I don't use that word lightly. Like
You don't
I
use
don't
any word lightly.
touche. But I don't even think I've used that word to describe anything really.
Well,
Like not to my memory in the last like
I'm
couple
not a
of
huge
years.
fan of the word. So
Yeah.
yeah, if I say something's cringy, it's because it's really
Yeah.
cringy.
Yeah. 'Cause I think that
There's
word
no
is
other word
just
that can describe it.
yeah, it's overused to death. But in
Mhm.
this case, we have to use it because that was cringy. Like,
Um,
oh man, that was bad.
yeah, yeah, I didn't feel comfortable with that one. That one hurt
Yeah,
me a little inside.
yeah. Well, I mean,
What are we doing?
there's still like there was people dying at the moment of that release, like in that very place. You
Oh
know,
man.
so it was just like because
Yeah,
you know me, I'm
let's
one
just
for. I,
get rid of everything there. We'll just completely wipe the whole place clean and start over from scratch and create this crazy
yeah,
destination place for rich people to go to.
you know as well you know as well as anyone. I'm always one for dark humor, but that was like let's just genocide these people while they're still dying there,
Yeah,
like
too
that.
dark, too dark.
Batman may not have his limits, but even Aphiah has his limits sometimes.
Yeah, you went too far there, Trump.
It's like what? Too soon? Too soon? It's like, man, the
Yeah,
war's still
never.
going.
Always going to be too soon. Don't ever bring that up again, please.
yeah, yeah. Let's just put that one in the lost
Yeah,
pile. And
pretend that didn't even happen.
yeah, all right, moving on. Never speaking of that again.
Lee. Oh man. Same day, he left instructions to obliterate Iran if it assassinated him. Um,
Okay, interesting.
I'm gonna say fair enough. I- if Iran came and assassinated me, I'd probably want them obliterated as well. Uh, but
Yeah,
it's not all Iranians' fault if the higher ups in Iran say or
but it,
have Trump assassinated. So there's plenty of good people there that should not die because a few bad ones decided to assassinate somebody that was going against what they wanted in the first place. So
well, even quick. I think even closer to this before all that is if Iran is able to assassinate you, that means a lot of people here at home failed you. Because
yeah,
how was Iran able to get close enough to assassinate you? Like a whole slew of things would have had to have
they
fell for
they've
that to happen.
they've been very sneakily doing stuff under the table for a long time.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, oh, an Iranian terrorist just like comes, flies into the U.S., past, past border check, and that gets gets weapons here, and then they're able to get past the Secret Service and get past intelligence agencies and oh yeah, what really went wrong there?
Uh, well, all that really happened was that or Iranians, I don't remember which ones. I don't remember if it was a terrorist group or if actual leaders in Iran sent threats claiming that they wanted to assassinate Trump. Um,
But don't they say that about every U.S. president?
yeah, I wouldn't take that too seriously, but I believe that's where it started, and but Trump took it very seriously apparently. So, yeah,
Yeah, it'd be like, you know,
it's like be concerned if they don't threaten your life. All right.
the thing I want to throw back out into the zeitgeist is you know, Teddy Roosevelt, speak softly and carry a big stick. I
Right.
want to see that type of leadership by Trump. It's like, man, like when he took that bullet, man, he had me rooting for him. Like I was like, yeah, that is a leader right there. You know, fight, yes, Trump. But then like now he's like, save all the pettiness for your team. You just be the man with the big stick. You don't need to talk it. Just walk it, brother. Just walk it, President Trump.
You're asking way too much of the man. You're asking. You cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Um, he's gonna bring the pettiness. It's gonna happen. How about this one? Might be a little controversial. He disbanded a task force intended to prevent foreign influence in U.S. elections. So he took the group that was meant to help prevent any sort of tampering with elections, and he got rid of it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. How
again,
many? How?
it could be him getting rid of somebody that didn't have a huge responsibility, or it could look really suspicious. It's hard to say on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know enough, but
Yeah. Yeah.
sounds a little sketchy.
I'm neutral on that one. I have to plead ignorance. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I don't
know
have enough
much about that
details in that one,
agency.
but that one caught
Yeah.
my eye.
Okay.
Um,
I'll have to look
yeah,
into that.
yeah. People, do your own research. All right. So, and
Yeah.
we don't know everything. So you see something on here that we talk about, get your facts and you know, sh- send us a comment. We'd love to hear about it. Uh,
Hey.
yeah, we'll speak more on it. If you feel very strongly about something that we say, we can make
Yeah.
a whole another episode about it if you want us
Yeah.
to.
If you have a strong disagreement with us, write a strongly worded disapproval in the chat. Right?
Please, please be intelligent about it. Don't come at us with stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah.
do your own research. Come at us with
Because
not
otherwise we'll
biases.
just ignore you. But
I'll laugh at you.
if you come with a good strong argument, we would love to engage with that. But if you just like I don't know, start hurling insults like a little 5-year-old, then
I
we'll
will
probably
engage that too, and but you're
yeah,
not gonna
but
like my reaction. It's gonna be
yeah,
me
but
laughing at you,
yeah,
and
we'll just be
if I'm
laughing at
laughing at
you.
you, Aphiah is definitely laughing at you. Um,
Oh, 100%, brother.
let's see. Open investigations related to executive order on transgender athletes. Um, that one I find interesting because here in California, I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but the whole San Jose State uh, volleyball team,
Mhm.
they had a transgender player on their team, and
On the girls team or the boys team?
girls volleyball team,
Okay.
and other teams were forfeiting and refusing to play them.
Okay.
Uh, And then I believe a few teams did choose to play them, including I want to say is Colorado State, and Colorado State wound up whooping on them anyways.
Mhm.
But she did have a mean spike. I saw replays. Um,
Dang.
there's some muscle behind that. There's some testosterone in there.
Yeah. So she cheated and still lost.
Well, San Jose State was backing her up, but then after the season was over and it caused all this controversy, a lot of the San Jose State players were coming out and saying like, "Hey, we didn't want this to begin with, and we're kind of forced to go
Yeah.
along with it."
Yeah,
So
well, because they're losing opportunities to put like you know what I mean. You're only in college
yeah,
for so long,
right,
and they're losing their opportunity to fully um fully enjoy their college experience as an athlete, and
right.
so
So
yeah, they're being robbed of that. So yeah, let's get those girls back out there.
I've tried to think of solutions to that one, like having transgender sports, but I mean, are people going to watch that? I don't. I don't know. That's like, did you see the transgender MMA fighter that was, the male
And
transition to female is fighting other females and just whooping on them? I
yeah,
mean,
in the Olympics.
she finally got her ass kicked, but
Yeah,
that was something else too. I mean, I don't know what to make of all that.
yeah.
It's not
I
fair either way. I don't think, but I mean, I don't know.
sure. I mean, I don't watch sports enough anymore for to where like I would watch a transgender thing. But maybe if like I was just like had some time off one day and like it's on like that's interesting. This
What
is
they need
new.
to do is they need to just create their own sport, like something that men and women do not have. That would be entertaining to watch. Have just a transgender sport. You know what I mean? They can figure that one out.
Hey,
Uh,
more power to them. I mean, all power to all people.
yeah, you cannot join unless you're a trainee. Um, oh, they don't like that, huh?
That,
Unless you.
that's another thing. That used to be the term. Um, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Well,
Who was it? It was Michael Chi, I believe. He had a stand up. Uh, a part of his stand up was about that, and he was talking with the transgender person and called her a tranny, and and she was like, "Well, how would you feel if I called you Blackie?" I mean,
I'd be like, okay.
he's like, well, I mean, I didn't really think about it that way before, but I guess that
That's
would get
funny.
annoying. Um,
My
but
yeah, Michael Che is funny. Um,
he's one of my favorites. I don't watch a lot of stand up anymore, but he still makes me laugh.
I I don't. I'm still trying to acclimate my wife to U.S. stand up. It's still like a genre that's kind of foreign to her.
Is
Uh,
that an American thing? I don't know.
yeah, like I mean, they have Filipino stand up, but like it's in English. Like
Right.
like like I've never seen her watch a stand up in Tagalog. You know. It's not. Yeah, it's not really. That's more like an American culture thing, like
I
stand-up
see.
comedy.
Yeah.
Like other countries are starting to do it, but like still to a
Well,
lesser extent.
yeah. I think like Europe has there's quite a bit in Europe, and then
Right. Yeah,
um,
but that's still Western society.
I suppose yeah, and then
She,
Australia, which is
she's from the far east.
but yeah, like you see like Indian comics, they're like the second generation, born in America, American Indian type or
Mhm.
Indian American people. And then like their
And
parents don't
and
get it.
what's up with it? Can I ask you that as as an Anglo-Saxon man, why why are all the other Americans hyphenated, but
Well,
but
because
you don't hear
what
like
would you
British American or
right?
Ger-
Well, like what would you make me? Because I'm let's see, I'm part Polish, part Irish,
Oh,
part
I love the
German,
Poles.
and part Lithuanian.
No wonder you're my homie, dude. Dude, I fox with the Poles.
Part Lithuanian, and I'm part Mexican. So I mean, would I have to include all those when
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
myself?
you're Lithopola Mexican American. What was the other ones you said?
German, Irish, American.
Yeah, but but that's a lot more beautiful, right? Like
I think so.
it's it's so silly. Like the term, like white. Like what the heck does white
I
mean?
think I think we should all just get super mixed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
like
think the more mixed you are, the better.
I'm for it.
Well, if you think about how genetics works,
Right, genetic
you,
wise,
you
it makes us all stronger.
you get the strengths from different regions of the world all coming together, because it's the strong genes that wind up being the dominant
Right.
ones. So
And
we
also
get the dominant genes from
when it's less
different
mixed,
races.
that's when you get like if there's like a problem genetically,
Uh-huh.
those will occur more if the people
Yeah, it's like
don't
amplifying it.
yeah, if the people don't differentiate the genetics as much,
Right.
yeah, it just gets amplified rather than phased out.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean for the good of the species.
So I mean,
Uh,
you're doing it with your kids, you know.
yeah, yeah, we're just doing our little part to save the world,
Exactly. Yeah. Eventually, we'll all be some sort of I don't know what color we'd wind up at. Somewhere in the like white,
I thought
like,
you've seen
like
that South Park
tan.
you've seen that
Yeah,
South Park episode, right?
yeah,
where,
like in the
where
future.
after it's, yeah, after everyone's all mixed. But like
Yeah.
I would say maybe somewhere around like Malay, like Malay people.
I'm
Yeah, because
okay with that.
they have a good range of browns.
That's a beautiful, beautiful color right there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I like a lot of the Pacific Islander colors that they got out there.
yeah.
Um,
My
and,
my wife
Southeast
my wife
Asian.
loves Malaysia too. We
Yeah.
yeah, we had a lot of good times in Malaysia. We might move there. That's
Okay.
that's a solid country. You know, you wouldn't you wouldn't expect it to because it's a Muslim country, but dude, honestly, some of the Muslims there put the Christians to shame and acting more Christian than some Christian countries. Like they're really good people. They were all really kind to us.
Well,
I can't say enough good thing about enough good things about the Malay people.
I was brought up Catholic, and I had some issues with the way Catholics were acting back when I was a kid. So um, that's a whole different topic, though.
Yeah.
Uh,
So be the Catholic you want the Catholics to be. Not just
well,
yeah.
it's
I'll
there's
say
there's a lot of hypocriticism, a lot of hypocrisy, I should say, in at least to the church I was going to. A lot of people judging others for how they're acting instead of setting an example, which is what
yeah.
God
Well,
and Jesus asked
well,
you to do.
well right. Well, Jesus condemns hypocrisy quite heavily.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah,
no one, no one condemns
you're not supposed to worry about what everybody else is doing. You're supposed to be concerned with what you're doing. Before
Yeah,
you worry about the splinter in your neighbor's eye, first take the log out of your own eye. All right.
then you can see clearly to help your brother.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that log is never coming all the way out, right? So you're always gonna be worried about what you always focus on bettering what you're doing the right thing.
Well, it should be the
Don't
focus.
just.
Well,
But my biggest problem was people
he
were
doesn't
showing
say
up
to
to
leave it in
church.
there though. You should move that log so that you can
At
see.
least try.
Right?
At least
Yeah.
try. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's a give and take, right? Jesus will give the grace, and then you can get that log out of there.
right.
And
But it's the same as the woman who was uh, she was cheating, right? And the community wanted to stone her to death,
well,
and
we don't
Jesus
know.
like,
We
well,
don't know
so
what her sin was exactly.
they accused her of cheating, adultery. That's right, it was adultery. Okay,
Yeah.
so so
Yeah, but
he said,
we don't know in which way. So in the biblical times, right? It was adultery, like now, because like now in American culture, there's a lot of marriage and remarriage. That's adultery in the Bible.
right.
Like
The
there's
only reason you should ever get divorced, according to Jesus himself, is if your significant other cheats on you. That's the only reason.
well no that's not.
Or if they die. If they die, then you can get her.
We'll talk about that another. That's not quite it, but I don't want to get too.
Maybe I misread it, but none of this has anything to do with Donald Trump. But
Yeah. I don't want to get too much into a theological tangent because
it's too late, man. It's too late.
Yeah,
We're there.
first of all, it's too late at night second of all, that is not at all the top. Like, I mean, Trump in the Bible. Oh goodness. Like, we just we pray for everyone to know Jesus, and we don't know anyone's heart, but
Well,
like
yeah,
we like right. The thing is, we judge actions, not people.
for sure. My biggest issue though with it was with Catholicism or the church that I was going to was people would show up for church on Sundays 1 hour a week and then consider themselves good Catholics and can do whatever the heck they want the rest of the week, basically, which is
Yeah,
I strongly disagree with.
oh, I punched my card in, or I signed off on the sheet. All right,
I
time for
put in
some
my
time
hour.
for
I'm good.
time for some sinning now. Like, like
Right?
no, like
It's
no,
okay.
that
I can go and repent. I'll be fine.
yeah, which is not the faith at all. That's actually the sin of presumption, and that's a very grave sin, which would
You're supposed to mean
it's
it when
not
you repent and try to better yourself, right?
right.
You don't
Yeah,
just say
it's not
"Oh,
just
I'm
like
so sorry, I did that."
yeah, like I'll just say sorry later. Like no. Yeah, that goes against a lot of things that Jesus taught.
Oh man, so yeah, so I had issues there, especially as a kid with a still developing mind. I was like, I just see a lot of hypocrisy here, and
Yeah,
I don't agree with it. I mean, instead of going and trying to learn things on my own, I just kind of ignored it for a long time up until
right.
recently. So,
Yeah,
be a better person.
believe me, I wasn't catechized correctly either when I was a kid, and yeah, I had went away. I'm the prodigal son, but thank God the Father welcomed me back with arms wide stretched, and
He always does.
it's one of those things. It's tough, but the thing is, we we go to church though for Jesus. We don't go for right the other people, right? We eat the body and drink the blood because Jesus tells us to, not and it because like I made that mistake myself of like putting my faith in other Christians instead of putting my faith in Jesus. Like
Mhm.
like oh like why are the Christians acting so terribly? Like it's like yeah but that's not our faith. Like yeah, there's gonna be Christians who even myself will do stupid bad things sometimes, and but it that's why every time at the start of church, right, we pray, uh, look not on our sins, but the faith of your church, right?
Mhm.
And we beg for that mercy because it it's not about how good Christians are. It's about how good Jesus Christ is, right?
Right. Yeah, we're never gonna try to be more Christ-like. We're never gonna get to His level of perfection. Um, but let's do one more before we end it. We're getting close to 2 hours now, and it's getting late for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Um,
Likewise.
so here's a fun one. President Trump revoked former President Biden's security clearances. This was on February 7th. Another petty Trump
Yeah,
pettiness.
I mean, one, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'll say like just to be in favor here to end it. We probably don't want a senile man to have security codes, like or to have access to any sensitive information because that could end up in the wrong
Well,
hands. But
I mean,
I
Trump
don't think
is just as
Biden
old,
would.
if not older, than Biden was when he started his presidency. So uh,
Yeah, they're around the
I
same
don't know if
age.
either one of them's really completely fit to be in that position.
Well, they're around the same age, right? They're only
Right.
they're only a
Well,
few
he's
years apart.
77 now. So, but I'm saying like when his presidency's over, he's going to be same spot Biden's in now, like age wise in his early
Yeah,
80s.
yeah, but
So
I mean, Trump's clearly more in his cognitive recognition than than Biden.
Hey, give him 3 more years. We'll see. I mean,
Well,
being
not
president's not easy, and at that
sure,
age, I mean, you're on the
but
decline.
yeah,
So
but not everyone. Not everyone has that type of mental deterioration, especially
no,
not as much as Biden has shown. Usually,
Biden was concerning. Yeah, there's no
yeah,
way he wasn't going to win if he did run again because it was pretty clear that he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle doing the very first debate against Trump. I mean, Trump ran circles around him. He embarrassed him.
he. I
It
mean,
was
he couldn't handle knowing what state he was in.
it was bad. It was really bad.
Let alone a debate.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. But just I
Yeah,
mean, like
and I mean,
it's
it's
almost
not.
like it's almost like
Yeah,
taking away like you're taking away too much from Biden that as an ex president though. Uh, I mean, to revoke all his security clearances. I mean, or even just I don't know. It seemed kind of like a bit of a slap.
yeah, yeah. That's why, like I said, I'm just gonna go for the favorableness. Like, yeah, we don't want someone who's senile with access to
Yeah,
that, maybe. But yeah, in all honesty, he has handlers and things, and
yeah.
is he honestly gonna do anything that could
I
jeopardize?
think I
No
think
one's no
people
one's gonna let that happen,
I
right?
think he had a lot of assistance even while he was still in his last like 6 months of presidency. Like I think a lot of people were taking what he was saying and doing with a grain of salt and be like, let's do it this way. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
I think it'd be
Yeah,
handled.
having sit downs with them. Well, look, Joe, what we need to do is right, like, just breaking it down to him like a child.
Right. So that one made me laugh when I saw that. But
Yeah, good times. Well, it's been a very eventful, uh, you know, uh, couple of first months for Trump's second presidency.
that was
There,
just us skimming through, and we only got to day 19
yeah,
out of
yeah, that
53. So
yeah
we
that
can make
wasn't that wasn't even everything in the first 19
this
days,
could
and
be like a three part thing if we want.
yeah,
We could
but
just keep going through it throughout his whole presidency. Just keep doing episodes and crazy things Trump's done lately. Um,
yeah, I think maybe we'll touch back on it, after a few months and see how some of these things have maybe
yeah,
had an
no, I
effect for
am
the
joking
actual society.
to all of our viewers. We're not. This isn't gonna just turn into what's Trump been up to lately thing. This is just
Just all yeah, because that would take all the say. We don't have enough time to cover that guy. Not not unless like the only way it would be productive is if like we were like private eyes or something, and like our our job was to like follow that guy around.
like I said. We only got through the first 19 days, and it took us 2 hours. And it could have taken longer. It could have taken a
Yeah,
lot longer. We could have gone through like 2 or 3 days and made that last 3 hours. So, uh,
yeah.
if we, we
A
thoroughly
lot
went
has
through everything
happened.
they did,
Yeah,
and
but it's a great time to be alive. It's always you're always in the Coliseum when you're an American, and we get front row seats. You know, but
uh, you got to see what it looked like from the sidelines while you were out in the Philippines, huh?
yeah, yeah, that was
Everybody else
interesting
saw. It's like, what's
from
going
the
on there?
from that from the outside looking in. I was like, yeah, man, no wonder people don't understand Americans. And then I came back here and I was like, you know what?
Do
I
Americans
don't
understand
I don't
Americans?
I don't think I understand Americans. A lot can change in 5 years, and
We're all
uh,
confused, and it pisses me off.
a lot has changed in a couple months here with this Trump presidency. But
A
life is
lot
always
changed for
good
their gun during
because
COVID too,
God is always good. So it's
all
all,
the time.
yeah. We just keep the hope alive and yeah, keep going day by day.
Yep. All right, man. Well, it's been fun. Uh, keep keep watching and please comment. We love to hear what other people think, and if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. Um, I am ready to go to sleep.
All right. Thank you and good night.
Good night.